Hello, my friends. It is Thursday, March 27th. Hope you're doing well. Again, as we wrap up the week, we're looking at more severe weather, unfortunately, through today, and it expands as we head into the weekend. Today's threat would be across Illinois, back into Iowa, Missouri, especially right here along the Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri border, and then tonight into, really this afternoon into tonight across South Texas. Some heavy rain possible, too. Flooding a concern across South Texas. And then as we head into tomorrow, our threat is a little bit less, but still, nonetheless, some decent thunderstorms possible from Nebraska all the way into the Great Lakes and then again across South Texas. And then once we move into Saturday, as our next system gets a little more organized, we're watching some severe weather across pretty much the same areas. But a little bit further to the south now. We're talking about from Oklahoma north and east up into parts of Illinois and Iowa. However, I will say we're still looking at the weekend outlook for Sunday for some widespread severe weather, not only across the south, across parts of Texas, north into Missouri, but also a little bit further east, maybe into Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and then Alabama, Mississippi, the deep south. You need to watch this next system that's coming into the weekend. I will tell you, I always try to tamper things just a little bit because while there is a significant severe threat, it doesn't look as strong as the last one that we saw, but it needs watch nonetheless. Here's the jet streak that we're watching. If you've tuned into any of the past broadcasts, this was a much stronger jet streak with some of the storms that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. However, this is still a decently robust piece of energy that's swinging through with the jet streak exceeding 60, 70, 80 knots aloft, so it will support some strong thunderstorms, and then that pushes into the south as we head into Sunday night into Monday. So still a long way to go before we get there, and we're also looking at the potential of an ice storm unfolding across the northern tier, right along the U.S.-Canadian border. Some heavy snow, some heavy icing also possible as this system wraps up heading into Sunday. So really an active weather pattern. Let's back this up and I'll show you where we are now, and we'll take it out day by day. Today, relatively quiet across parts of the mid-Atlantic. However, because of that and with some dry air in place, an elevated fire danger, I think, from Georgia all the way north into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, pretty much this entire region with that dry relative humidity heading into the afternoon. That's a risk. And then some showers. And again, there's the storms heading into today. As we head into the evening hours, those will continue to pick up here across Missouri, back as far west as Kansas, and then into Illinois, and then across South Texas. Some really heavy rain possible here with some flooding and some severe weather. Enough cold air aloft that we could see some strong thunderstorms and even a few isolated tornadoes across South Texas with some strong damaging winds possible as well, and some hail. All right, continuing to push this out, here comes our storm into the west, bringing some more heavy rain and snow. And then there's your ice storm starting to take shape into the UP of Michigan, northern Minnesota. And look how this stretches east. We've got a lot of really cold Arctic air just to the north, pushing up against this really warm, humid air to the south. So because that cold air is more dense, it's not going to be moving very much. If anything, it's almost going to bleed south a little bit as we head into the weekend, into parts of Michigan and a little bit further to the south as this next system gets wrapped up. And now your severe threat pushes to the east as we head into Sunday, out ahead of this area of low pressure and also into this warm sector of our storm. More ice and snow going here, again, into northern Michigan, the UP, Wisconsin, parts of Minnesota, and further north into Ontario. This could be an impactful ice storm. Winter storm watches have been posted for parts of Michigan, and I think maybe even as far west as Wisconsin. So we'll continue to watch this over the next couple of days. And then as we head into Sunday, our severe threat starts to push into the south along our cold front that pushes off to the south and east. That could bring some damaging winds, some hail. I don't know that the tornado threat is off the charts, but you want to pay attention again as we head into the weekend, into early next week. And as we move into Sunday, this calms down as high pressure builds in. We're watching another storm into the west. This is definitely going to be an impactful storm here too, with some snow, some rain, snow levels dropping too, and then temperatures go back down. So we're pushing some chilly air back down to the mid-Atlantic. However, it's not going to last. As our next low moves in, we're going to swing our temperatures back north, so our warm air back north, I should say, so numbers will be on the way back up. Hey, if you're brand new, thanks for coming by. I'm Travis. I used to be a chief meteorologist many years ago on TV, so I'm used to analyzing this stuff, and to me, next week's storm, just looking right now, is looking a little more impressive than what we're even looking at heading into the weekend. So it's the time of year where you want to stay weather aware and watch things as they evolve. Let's take a closer look This is the daily update. We go region by region. We start in the Northeast today with some light snow showers into the northern mountains here, Vermont and New Hampshire. That settles down. And then we're watching this next disturbance swing through parts of Canada. This could bring some rain showers heading into tonight, maybe some snow mixing in into parts of New York and Vermont, New Hampshire, into Maine. Looks like it's going to be all snow up into here. Not a huge snowstorm by any stretch, and then more widespread showers for Friday from Pennsylvania, New York, swinging through New Jersey into the tri-state. And then here comes that really weird setup as we head into Saturday, especially here on the northern side of this. You've got that really cold air setup. We could see some ice here. At least at this point, that's what it's looking like. I think it's north of Buffalo, it's north of Rochester, but get up here in the northern parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. This could be an impactful ice storm with some heavy snow on the northern side of this. Cold air in place as we head through the next couple of days. Here's where we'll end up this afternoon, not warming up much. 60s, 50s to the south as we head into the afternoon. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer, back into the 70s. You can see how that warm air tries to advance. But I'm going to push this out in time. Look at Saturday. We're pushing almost 80 now for Philadelphia, D.C., Baltimore, even up to New York into the mid-70s. Look what a contrast we have up to the north, 20s. So winter still holding strong. And again, there's that tight temperature gradient that's going to cause the potential ice. And you can see how that cold air is just lurking to the north here into New England and the Northeast. Further to the south, there's the severe weather that's possible as we head through the day today across Missouri, also Iowa. Some of these could dump some hail, some damaging winds, maybe an isolated tornado, but certainly not a huge risk. It's not a zero threat from the Storm Prediction Centers. We go back to that. I do want to show you that for today. They're watching parts of, again, Missouri, Iowa, back into Kansas and Nebraska. And if you look at that tornado risk, that day one tornado risk, it's relatively low. And again, watching South Texas as well. Let's continue to push this radar out in time. Heavy rain developing across southeast Texas, and then some rain spilling to the east with those thunderstorms pushing into Ohio as we head into Friday. And then some of that warm air really starting to work north out ahead of as our warm front lifts to the north. So numbers on the way back up across this part of the country. Today, a little bit cool here with the showers and on the clouds. As we head into Friday, numbers rebound quite nicely back into the mid-70s. So a huge temperature swing here with numbers on the way back up. Further to the north, there goes the showers and the storms today, dropping off to the south and east. More rain and storms tomorrow. Some of these could get on the strong side, again, across parts of Indiana, Ohio, parts of northern Illinois, and Wisconsin. But look at the ice developing across northern Michigan, up towards Gaylord, north of that into the UP of Michigan, and then right here into northern Wisconsin. This could be an impactful ice event for the UP of Michigan, and then some heavier snow on the north side of that. Take a look at what happens. I mean, it almost feels like not a whole lot of relief, because once this goes through, we start to develop our next storm, and that could lift more rain and snow north out ahead of the next storm this weekend. So a prolonged period of some active wintry weather, I guess. Look at the cold, near or below zero, just lurking up here into Canada. In contrast to that, 70s and 80s. So pretty wild to see on this map. You have a minimum of 2 below zero and a maximum of 83. So, I mean, we're pushing 90-degree temperature span on this regional map. Look how the cold lurks to the south. I want to let that play out just a little bit. And I don't know if you saw that or not. I'm going to let it go fast so you can see it right here. Watch everything drop to the south just a little bit, right there across Michigan. So numbers will be dropping in some of these areas as we head into the weekend, as some of that cold air tries to push, as it does. It's more dense, and it tries to bleed a little bit to the south. There's the heavy rain across Texas today. It's going to bring some heavy, strong thunderstorms, especially as our trough swings out of Mexico into South Texas. This could initiate some really strong thunderstorms heading into this afternoon and this evening across southern parts of Texas. Some big hail, maybe even some tornadoes too, with a lot of cold air aloft that would really fuel these storms and get them going. Some heavy rain possible too. Flooding is a threat across a lot of Texas. And look at all that rain as we head into Friday. It starts to lift to the north, and then we watch these storms redevelop again heading into Friday into Saturday. But you can see that flow moving north out of Texas, pushing a lot of moisture pretty far to the north out ahead of the next system, which would bring our severe weather through the weekend, Sunday into Monday. Temperatures today, really warm, mid-80s across Kansas, Oklahoma, north into Nebraska. Further to the north, this is where we're going to see a lot of wintry weather over the next couple of days, especially right here along the U.S.-Canadian border where it's a lot colder. Low pressure moving toward the Great Lakes. There's your ice across parts of Minnesota as we head into Friday night, into Saturday. And then we're watching this next low push out into the plains. On the northern side of that, some snow possible from South Dakota into Nebraska. It looks like it's going to be in eastern South Dakota, moving towards Michigan, and then into Minnesota. Now, places like Rochester probably going to get just rain, but north of that, once you get here into central and northern parts of Minnesota, we could see some snow. And look, maybe cold enough for Monday for some snow on the backside of that, a little bit further to the south. Here's a look at your temperatures. Today, there's the 80s and there's the 30s, so a big contrast here as well. Back to the southwest, we're dry for now. Not a lot of action at the end of this week, but some snow starting to pick up across the Colorado Rockies, and we do see some snow into Northern California. Parts of the Wasatch will see some snow and some rain out of this. Snow levels will start to drop some here as some colder air moves in, and then as we head into Sunday, a little bit of rain and snow moving into California. It could get heavy, though, as we head into Monday with temperatures on the way down, quite a bit of Pacific moisture moving into this part of the country, and there could be some decent snow accumulation out of this. Here's your temperatures today. Hot across the southwest. The trend here will be for cooler temperatures. 80s, close to 90 today. Tomorrow, more like close to 80 for places like Phoenix, up toward Flagstaff, a little bit cooler. Really pretty much this entire part of the country, and this corner of the country, I should say, a little bit cooler than what we've seen over the last couple of days, and then what we're going to see today too. And across the Pacific Northwest, after a really active day yesterday, we're getting some cold air moving in. Now our snow levels are dropping, and there could be some heavy snow into the Cascades, all the way down into parts of Northern California through today, tonight. And then a lot of moisture swinging here into the Intermountain West, really into the Northern Rockies, up into the Canadian Rockies. So some heavy snow possible out of this. And then the next storm, again, maybe a little bit further to the south, or at least push that moisture here into Northern California. And we've talked about that into Oregon. So some heavy snow possible out of this. And this is pretty chilly looking. So the snow levels are going to come down with the next one. Temperatures today, looking kind of like this. So we're looking at 50s and 60s overall over the next couple of days. A little bit cooler as we head into Friday, also into the weekend, slightly anyway, as our snow levels do start to drop some, especially as we head into next week with that next storm moving in, with numbers getting a little bit colder out here. So that's what we're looking at right now. Again, in the upper levels, if you want to just take a look at the weekend dynamics as far as the severe weather goes. And if you're just joining the live video, you can go back to the beginning and you can see everything from the start to finish when we talk about the severe outlook. But I didn't look at the jet stream. I do like to look at this. This is that jet streak that's swinging through. Again, not a super strong piece of energy swinging through, but nonetheless some severe weather possible. But again, next week is something that I think is something to keep an eye on as we head toward Wednesday and Thursday. The models have been trying to push something out right in this time frame, so watch this period. And then beyond that, I mean, who knows if this is going to happen? We're looking at now April 7th, but boy, that would be one heck of a severe weather maker. So as we head into April, I think things are just starting to ramp up. It's some of the most really active weather for severe weather that we see in many parts of the country. So if you enjoy this content, I hope you will consider subscribing. Come back. Have a great Thursday. See you next time.